Evening all, welcome to the Infantry Zone. Well, what to say about this game? This was a good one. Not that they're all good. In fact, most of them are terrible. I kind of cleverly edit so I look incredibly good at this game, but I'm probably one of the worst people at this game, and it's only because people give me ISK that I managed to keep running prototype. I'm kidding. I die a lot, but I kill a lot, and I think I'm still somehow making that whole process of prototype work. I think, you know, because you'll have, I mean, lately, obviously, I've played pretty badly, but generally, you will still have those games where you just dominate. Anyway, I digress. What are we talking about today? Today is mostly going to be about infantry. We're also going to maybe look at some of the other things that are kind of coming down that are, I guess, are conversational points within the game. So, for example, I just found out from one of the comments in my video, and you know, I had to actually go and read the forums, which was just painful. But anyway, I went to go read the forum, and they're removing dropships, and naturally my balls lifted into my body, ready for anger, ready for a fight, and you know, I was pretty much tensed to go and start effing and blinding. However, I then read CCP Logibro's post about why they're doing it, and yeah, great post, love it. He is an absolute sex demon. I think he's brilliant, and that's exactly the kind of thing we need. You know, very logical, sensible, constructive arguments to, you know, to kind of nullify the emo whores like me. So after reading it, I think it's a very well structured post, and I think it's a good thing, to be honest, because it's going to, I think, rebuild the game from kind of basic principles first. So I was quite proud of the fact that they've got the balls to do that. I think that's really good. It is a shame that we're going to lose things like the assault dropship, but given how terrible the assault dropship is at the moment, it's probably a good thing. I would say also that I think some of the kind of changes to tanks is looking quite kind of, well, quite frankly, it's looking bloody scary, but we'll see how those pan out. So in general, quite a lot's about to change. So I thought I'd do an infantry one, kind of just to show maybe some of the kind of harder battles, but also I think just show that I think, you know, again, tanks and dropships and things like that, they've never really been done properly, and I think this is an infantry game solely. If you've seen my other video, the 3 Dimensions of War, hopefully that really just, you know, fleshes out the fact that quite honestly, not many people use tanks and dropships kind of like tanks and dropships. They use them as, you know, very big suits of doom, or just literally conveyances. So I think just generally there's a bit of a, you know, a bit of a good idea to kind of replan everything. However, again, I am gonna moan because I do feel that once again they're kind of messing with mechanics. So they're twiddling the knobs of Dust 514. That's right, Dust has many knobs, and they're just kind of pulling levers and pulling knobs and pulling knobs and pulling levers, and it's not really kind of developing the game further. So I probably would give just a word of caution out there that I just feel, once again, it does feel that this ship is slightly rudderless. In terms of the wider content, we hear and we stay and we kind of, you know, yearn for content and feedback and, you know, information. So, you know, I'd love to know more about the PvE element. I'd love to know more about this and that. And I think, to be honest, you know, time. I don't want to say time's running out, because that sounds very dramatic and over the top. So time's running out. Basically, I think CCP have got not a lot of time left to really, I think, kind of sway and continue to sway the audience to their way of thinking. And I would say certainly, I saw a fantastic Eurogamer article that you know, rather, you know, amusingly used one of my fucking videos without asking, but there we go. Not that I'm bitter. But basically this thing was looking at the future of Dust, and it probably is not going to be exclusively on PS3. So that was obviously a good thing. I think honestly, well, you know, absolutely emphatically, this game should be ported to PC as soon as effing possible, and I think it should be a module of Eve. I do believe that. I don't know why. It depends. Literally, the technology and the platform will dictate the whole future of Eve. if it became a PC game, it would become a much more of a sandbox game, and an MMO, and an MMO like, you know, all the other ones out there for the PC. If it's going to continue as a PS3 only title, the reality is it's there to be a lobby shooter for people who, you know, just want to play a free game because they're too tight to buy Battlefield or they're too tight to buy Call of Duty, and that's not good. Dust is better than that. It's a much better product than that. So, you know, it kind of pains me slightly to feel that, you know, that single premise of do we continue on PS3? If we do, then that pretty much limits our options. Is, you know, that decision that's probably going to be done by the EP, if they have one, or even Hilmar, will dictate where this game goes. Forever will it be a lobby shooter and a coffee table shooter if it stays on the PS3, because PS3 is not an MMO platform. If it moves to multi-platform format, or if it moves to PC solely, then that could be quite exciting. I think, honestly, they have not linked this to EVE enough. I think they've given up trying to link it to EVE, and I think they should just kind of, you know, stand back and say, do you know what? Let's rethink this whole game now. I think, you know, don't have to pull the plug, continue it on PS3, but maybe start thinking about, you know, the next generation of this game, Dust 515. See what I did there? And make it something that's, you know, going to be on the PC as well. Anyway, not really going to labour too much on that. I think as it stands at the moment, the whole gaming industry is pretty much reveling, you know, a whole next generation of games, and I think people are forgetting things like Dust, and that's a shame. You know, to be honest, if they're not going to market it, if they're not going to direct it, if they're not going to lead it with, you know, the EPs, etc., you know, I don't even, have they got an EP? Post in the comments if they got an EP. Who is he? What's his experience? What games has he done? Da 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 da. And if they haven't got that, then well, let's see. But I just think at the moment they've got to come out with some more definitive statements other than, you know, oh, we're changing vehicles, and oh, we're removing content, and oh, we're doing this. I think, I'm not being negative towards it. I know they're doing their best and they're certainly building a much more kind of longer term game, but I just feel that they're kind of now almost admitting that all they can do is streamline. Do you see what I mean? Do you know the difference between that? Instead of saying, hey, we're going to do a new product and this is what it's going to be, and oh my god, look at this. It's, we're going to redo this, and we're going to tweak this, and we're going to cut this, and we're going to maybe do this. And it's all stuff just with, it's already in the game. It's all mechanics, it's already there. And I don't know, it worries me a little bit. Particularly when you see kind of, you know, I mean, again, I've said in the previous video, you know, you should play other games. You should always play other games. If you're a gaming connoisseur, then you should experience other games. And I think, you know, when you look at the quality of the games out there, things like Battlefield 4, and I hate to say it, GTA, and, you know, other things like the new Call of Duty, then, you know, it's not something you can kind of easily compete against. But CCP have got a great product. This is a diamond in the rough right now. And that's not a kind of weird, you know, kind of, you know, semi fucking obscure YouTuber's point of view. It's actually, this is actually a very good game. I've played pretty much any shooter that's out there. I've played most of them, if not all of them. And I think this has something quite, I don't know, special about it. So, you know, I love to think that CCP have got the vision and the foresight to maybe really push this to the next step. I don't want it to be, you know, almost like going for a long jump and you only managed a kind of mid-height jump, and then from that point on you're just thinking, oh well, that's what we did, that's the bar. I would love for them to say, do you know what, this is the bar now, and it's twice as high and it's twice as complex, and, you know, it's going to suck. But the thing is, the loyalty of the customers they already have will quite honestly just sit there and say, I love your vision, I'm behind you. And again, no, not many companies out there have the ability to literally stake a vision like CCP did, and then people will follow. Look at me, how many videos have I made about this game because I loved the vision, the myth of what this game will do eventually. So I think, you know, it's probably time to be a bit more ballsy, but it depends. Maybe their backers don't want to do that. Maybe, you know, Sony, you know, kind of twisting their arm a bit. So maybe there's no official agreement, but maybe Sony are just saying, look, stick with us. You know, this is profitable for Sony as well as it is for you. Da 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 da. But I just think CCP have, you know, great foresight, and I'd like to think that they're not going to just let this game, I think, just be just be kind of tweaked into the dust, if you see what I mean. So there we go, bit of a negative one to end on, so let's just end with something else. Lovely soft kittens, there we go. That's a lovely picture to put in your mind. Hope you enjoyed that. See you next time.